Welcome to School of Miracles. I'm Heather Scavetta, and today we're going to talk about the spiritual path. I've been on the spiritual path for almost 20 years, and I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and there's always room for better understanding or a fresh perspective. So today I'm going to talk about a personal experience that I've had recently because I thought it might help someone out there to understand how the spirit world communicates, but also the types of messages that might come through for you. And maybe the message itself may help. And sometimes when we hear another's experience, it brings more meaning to our own, which so often on the spiritual path we can feel alone in our development and our understanding. And when we share with one another, it can really help us not feel alone in the process. And you never stop learning, you never stop growing, you never stop working on yourself. Why do you do the things that you do? What are the things that you're trying to overcome? And each of us, it's different. Very often when we share our own feelings about things, we may find others have the same. And yet we're all in these individual experiences learning about ourselves. Other people can help us understand ourselves by reflection. But at the end of the day, we have to walk our own path. And if you are in communication with your spirit team, they can help you along this path. And if you're not in communication with them, you can learn how to do it, but also know that they are still communicating with you because everyone receives thoughts from their spirit team. They may not just realize it's coming from them. And sometimes they can get messages from their spirit teams in different ways, sometimes in dreams, sometimes in feelings. Sometimes, you'll get an urgency to go do something or call somebody. Who's giving you that feeling? There are many people in our spirit team, but they all work together for the same purpose, to help us here, to realize our dreams and our hopes and why we came, and they want us to be successful. So at the end of the day, we're always in our own way. Everything is set up for our success. And if we can trust that, then we can let go of a lot of the barriers that are self-created. Awareness is really the jumping off point. You got to be aware of how you're feeling, what you're thinking, what's happening. Reflect on, how you're feeling about things. And definitely when you're in your own way. So many people who don't really understand what the spirit team does expects them to make choices for them and to give them the answers. And it's really not their purpose, spirit in general, to do those things for you. You must come to your own understanding of how you get to that understanding of what do you want? How do you get it? What's in your way? What challenges, personal challenges, are you overcoming? So many factors go into it, but at the end of the day, your success road is laid out for you. You decide if you want to take it or not. And consequently, understanding why it feels difficult to you. So recently, I went into meditation, as I often do, to communicate with my spirit team, see if there's anything they want to tell me, or I know they can communicate with me during the day, but when you provide an opportunity to be still and quiet, you can really pick up so much more from your spirit team. You can really be in deep communion with them. I was meditating for a little bit, and then I thought, well, maybe I should ask them for help in some way, so that there's something that they can talk to me about. And sometimes when we ask questions, Helps us to understand the answer better because it will be in response to our question. And so instead of just a random thing coming in and you'll go, well, what's that all about? Then you're like, oh, that's an answer to my question. They hear you. You don't have to say it out loud. You can write it in your notebook. You can say it in your head. They hear you. And so I thought, okay, so what should I ask today? And you always go to your heart, not your mind. Don't make things logical. Kind of go deeper than that. What do I really want to know? Well, I've always been interested in moving forward, getting better, improving, how whatever that means. And so I said to them, how how can I be my best self? How can I reach my potential? And what am I doing that could be in the way of that? Because we see things from our own perspective, and there's always another way to look at things. You're asking spirit to see things with fresh eyes, different eyes. Oftentimes, the information that comes through won't be what you expect because it's not coming from your own mind. And it will always help you. Absolutely. So sometimes we get messages from our spirit teams in the way of pictures, whether it's a flash picture in front of us or a picture that comes into mind's eye that feels more like a memory. Sometimes we get feelings. We may hear things, hear people talking to us. Lots of different ways that we can get messages from our spirit team. Oftentimes they choose ways to talk to us that is multi-level. So how they respond, what they choose to respond with, there's a lot more information there than just the message itself, is what I'm trying to say. They may choose to tell you directly, so you may hear the message, or they may choose to give the message in a visual form because it's received in a different way from you. Maybe there is color involved. So in a picture, you're going to go, well, why did they choose those letters to be that color? Why did they choose a visual and not an audio response? So I find myself that if I hear something, I need to write it down right away because I usually forget it. If I see a visual, I tend to remember it more. So the message came through in a visual because on reflection, I feel that it would have been hard to give the message in a symbolic way because I don't know how an image of something was going to get that message through to me. So I think the words itself was important. I think that's why I saw the message as words out in front of me. And they happen to be purple words, which represent healing to me. So perhaps moving in this direction for me would also help my healing. So in response to my question, how can I be my best self? How can I reach my potential? So I'm looking at the words. And their message was that quote from Robert Schuller. I had to look it up because I can't remember where the quotes came from. But he's a minister. He used to have Hour of Power on TV. And he said what I saw in front of me, which is, what would you do or attempt to do if you knew you couldn't fail? They're not telling me what to do. They're making me do the personal work because it is my journey and my life. And that's what's really going to be rewarding at the end of this life, is not that somebody told me to do it and I did it. It was more like coming to understand that myself, like really growing within myself. But also to maybe recognize, is there a part of me that is scared to fail? And so I don't try things. I never really thought I was that kind of person. I don't think I carry a lot of fear. So I was thinking, maybe I am scared, right? Maybe I am scared of my potential. So it's not really fear of failure. It's more for me fear of success. What if things turn out? What if, right? So now they've given me the challenge to perhaps take a step forward. What feels right for me. I always tell people, use your natural talents. What do people say you're good at? Do that. Keep doing that. Get better at that. And I really love to teach people spiritual development. I always share my personal experiences because I think it helps people relate it to their own life. Maybe you'd like to try this yourself. To go into a meditation and ask the question, how can I be my best self? How can I reach my full potential? And you may receive a different message than I did, depending on what you're working on and how you are, and what your biases are, and what your fears are, and that type of thing. But also listen to the message I received, because even though they're talking to me, they know I share with other people, and sometimes that message may relate to you too. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And are you hesitating on that? Maybe you have to think about it. Maybe you have to feel your way through it. Maybe you have to take some time and go into another meditation and feel your feelings so that you can understand that truth. And of course, where is this held? Where is the truth held? It's held in your heart. And so instead of thinking your way through problems or solutions, can you instead go deeper into the heart and allow the heart to reveal it to you? I hope you enjoyed the podcast today, and let me know what you think. Send me some comments, or maybe you do this meditation and you've got some results from it, or maybe this message meant something to you. I hope you have a blessed day, and I'd love to hear from you soon.